podcast land, and welcome to the Triumphant Life podcast. I am your host, Nick Trevelyan, and I am joined with my best friend, trainer, life coach, a dude who has changed my life, Mr. Andrew Handgartner. H, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how we doing today?
Dude, you were such a hit on episode 1. I had to bring you back for the sequel, dude. I mean, for episode 2. So welcome back, bro.
Thanks. I think people are lying too, but thank you. Glad to be here.
Why do I have a feeling that you are going to be a staple on this show, which is cool because you were there when we came up with the idea to start this and change some lives and really help some people. And guys, we got to be honest with you from the bottom of our hearts. The comments that we've gotten after episode 1, after our very first shot at this, guys, we love you. Thank you so much for the support. But Andrew, dude, the stories I've already heard from people, man. I mean, 1 episode out, and I know we talked about my story and me being paralyzed from the waist down and battling that, about a year ago. But geez, man, like we are really helping some people out, dude.
It's great. The text we've been sharing back and forth this last week of you send me all the responses you're getting. It's pretty awesome. Client Jennifer Weber, she's all about it. She's giving us some great feedback, and she went out of her way to text me and saying how much she loved it. So it's really good to hear. It really is.
Oh my God, guys, just for those that are first here on this podcast or watching us on Facebook, what up, guys? Hey, we're fancy now. Me and Andrew are live on video. Andrew, say hi to everybody online.
Hi.
Hey, so if you guys are just listening to us, head over to our Facebook pages and you can see us. We're waving to you guys. Welcome to the podcast. But one of the coolest stories that came out of just 1 week, man, and this is what inspires me and why we're doing this is Brittany, a really good friend of mine that I grew up with, she had reached out and sent me this very long, heartfelt message, man. And her mom is battling cancer, and her mom is in Spain. And Brittany, that's a tough thing. And Brittany's here, in the States. And she had heard our message and watched one of my videos. And she said she actually, because of that video and my story, was inspired enough to get on and purchase a plane ticket to go see her mother and be with her mother.
That's huge. That is
I don't
huge.
care what happens on the rest of this podcast, man. We helped one person, and that's all that absolutely matters for me, and I know for you. And guys, just thank you so much for the love. We want to give you all we can, and that's why we're doing the Triumphant Life podcast and this Triumphant Life movement is we want to just provide the achievers of the world, the people that want more of the world, a vehicle to do that, whether that's some tips, some ideas, some strategies, some stories, just a little bit of, just a little bit of love, a little bit of motivation, inspiration, whatever it takes for you to get started in your world. We want to be that for you. And that's actually why we're doing
that little kick in the bottom, right?
Whatever, right? And you and I seek that. That's the crazy thing is, guys, we're with you. Like, we're doing this together as a movement, together as a community, because I seek out daily inspiration. You're my coach, bro. Like, I come to you for help, and like, I lean into you. Like, you've been there when I've had bad days, and you can see it on my face. You can see my energy, my shoulders slumped over. And you know that at that point in time, I need a little bit of love and a little bit of pick me up. And that's actually why we're doing this podcast here on the video, saying hi to you guys. So here's the deal, guys. If you like what we're doing here and you like this message, do us a favor. Tag a friend on Facebook or share this podcast with somebody, because you never know what a kind word, a message, some love, some inspiration can do for somebody. And, I'm living proof of that here with my coach, and I'm just so honored and blessed to have you sitting here. I mean, it's just a trip and surreal to me that I'm looking at you on a podcast.
Right.
And you're the one
it's pretty crazy. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, but you've been the one that's been that resource for me in my life, and to be here on this podcast doing that. So guys, share this with a friend, man, somebody that might need to hear that message. And that's what today is about. So check it out, guys. So we're all fancy now. We got video, as you can tell. We are actually on Spotify. So podcast distribution wise, we're on every major outlet really, except for Apple yet. I guess Apple takes a long time to get distributed. So we're in the approval process there, but we're on Spotify, Anchor, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, and Breaker. Just not Apple yet. So you guys can follow us on any of those platforms. It was really cool. So my dad just got an iPhone, right? And
just got an iPhone?
Yeah, like he's just learning to text it and get on Facebook and stuff. And we were talking the other day, and he's like, well, like, son, how do I hear your podcast? I go, well, Dad, this is a long shot. Have you ever heard of Spotify? And his ears perked up. He's like, yeah, I have Spotify. So I was able to share him the podcast episode right off of Spotify. And then
That's pretty cool.
It was cool to see your name on Spotify. I was like, dude, there's my coach on Spotify. This is so cool. So guys, you can check that out on all those publications. And then obviously once we get Apple ready to go, which is probably a big one for everybody, we'll shoot you a message to let you know on that. So that brings us to episode 2, man.
What's our topic today, mister?
Ready to do this? So guys, in episode 1, I mean, the kickoff episode, we told my story of, me being paralyzed from the waist down and me having to go through spine surgery, being in the ICU for 7 days and having to battle that. And it was really cool just to get it out there, man, for me to be able to tell that story, and you and I taking a bucket list trip and turning this year around. So you guys, if you haven't heard that one, go back and listen to our very first one. But after that raised a lot of questions of like, okay, Nick, so I heard your story, right? Like, okay, you're paralyzed from the waist down. how did you get started? Like, where do you go when you're at rock bottom? For example, let's say you wanted to start losing weight, and let's say you had a goal to lose 40 pounds, like get all skinny and sexy, right? Or, you know, maybe you wanted to start a new side hustle or make X amount of money or whatever that is, right? Change your relationships. And, you know, we all have our own goals. Is how do you get started? And that's why I was so excited to bring you back on, right? Is as you're standing at the bottom of a mountain looking up, right? Sometimes it seems so overwhelming to go, like in your world, you're a fitness trainer, right? To go lose 50 pounds. Dude, you know how overwhelming that seems for some people? And typically we get this, I call it paralysis by overanalysis, right? Where let's say you did, because I think fitness is just an easy example we can all wrap our heads around. Let's say you wanted to go lose 50 pounds. I think a lot of people worry about, you know, what the right shoes are, what the right Lululemon clothes are, what the right Nikes are, you know, what the right gym, what the right diet. And they almost get paralyzed by looking at how long it's going to take in the hundreds of workouts, the thousands of calories they're going to have to burn, you know, the thousands of healthy meals. And instead of actually just getting started, they get kind of just numb to it because it looks so overwhelming, so far away. And I was the same way when I first met with you at that Chipotle on April the 1st is, Andrew, I couldn't walk. You know, from a college athlete to not be able to run or backpedal and, you know, turn, like those are just normal things that an athlete is used to. I was overwhelmed myself sitting there going, how do I start this? Because, dude, I have so far to go. I had put on like 38 pounds. I was a little chunky around the belly.
Was it that much?
Dude, I was like sloppy. Like I had gained.
I don't remember being that much weight. All right.
Yeah. And it just, how do you start that? And how do I get the momentum? And, you know, like that first workout, I was just like, dude, this is so freaking hard. So talk to me, dude. I'm so glad to have you on because I think you bring so much to the table for our listeners and viewers here. How do you advise somebody to get started, man, that has this huge goal, whether that's health, fitness, relationships, or spirituality? How do they turn that all around?
Well, when it comes to the fitness side, I say, you know, Sally's coming to lose 50 pounds. Well, the problem is most people, they quit before they even start. You're right. They're so worried about what's their attire going to be for the gym. And I need the perfect meal plan. I need the perfect exercise program. I need the perfect cardio. They're waiting for everything to be lined up. And it doesn't ever work that way. You know, you got to crawl before you walk. So when people come in, I'm like, let's set real expectations of yourself. Let's sit down and talk about a real goal. Okay, well, we know you can lose 8 pounds this month. I know you can. Here's how you're going to do it. So when I give someone a meal plan, I create it around them in their life. And I've done, you know, I've given people paleo, they track the macros, you know, intuitive eating. I've given a set meal plan that you eat certain amounts every day. So I've given every single meal plan there is underneath the sun. But the number one thing is where people fall short in the very, very beginning is they're looking for the 4th, 5th plan down the road. They're not starting with the first one. So I give them the most basic plan. And I say, here's your goals. Sally eats fast food every day. No drive-thrus for 1 month.
So one little thing.
Yep, one little thing.
To start with.
Yep, and eat every single meal from your house. You make every meal. And instantly they're like, oh, I can't do that. I'm like, whoa. All we're saying is just cook your own food and don't go through the drive-thrus. So instantly right off the bat, most people, they freak out. Because they have to be perfect. I'm like, you're gonna fuck up along the way. I expect you to come and be like, dude, I caved this weekend. I got drunk, I ate nachos, I had Philly burgers for breakfast. I expect that. We're not perfect. I screw up all the time.
We're all work in progress. Yeah.
Exactly. So they expect everything to be so perfect, and it never is. And that's okay. But every time they have one mess up, they look at it as, oh, I failed the entire program. No, you didn't. You're human. It's not black and white. You live in the gray, but you just live towards the healthier side than the non-healthy. And I think that's what people go wrong.
Well, I think a lot of times we want things so fast, right? So we're an on-demand society.
Yeah.
Right?
You got Amazon, everything comes your door, right?
Dude, I get on my phone, I click a button. I mean, if you really think about this, like let this sink in. I can get on my phone now and click a button and a car shows up within 5 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that car takes more than 5 or 6 minutes, I'm pissed off because they're not fast enough. Right?
Yep, that happened to me last week.
4 years ago, we didn't even have this. I'd have to wait an hour for a taxi, and today I'm mad if it doesn't show up. I can get on my phone and click, and food shows up within 30 minutes. Anything more than that, I'm pissed off, right? Because we are an on-demand now society. I hop on Netflix, I stream now, and if that thing's got a buffer, you guys know what I'm talking about. You freaking go crazy.
Yep.
Reset your modems, and like the sky is falling on something that we have today because we are an on-demand society. And I think we get on to Facebook and social media and Instagram, and you see the people that are there, and you expect that because you worked out yesterday, you have that, right? And then I think also it kind of slows us down because you're looking at how far you have to go and how perfect that, that trainer is or that model is and how good they look all filtered and all cropped out, right?
And everything is filtered nowadays. You don't know
everything is filtered, right? It's a highlight reel, but I think often that slows us down too because we have so far to go. I know I was the same way. Is you start comparing yourself to other people and you want to microwave it, right? Like you want to jump in, throw it in, take a magic pill, and then boom, I'm skinny and healthy. But I think it's a process, and instead of a microwave short term, it's a long-term crock pot for results, right?
Yeah, but I think, and going off of that, I think one of the big problems is everybody wants the results now, so fast. And if it was that way, everybody would have the body they want. Mm-hmm. But clearly it doesn't. Yeah. We're damn near 40% obese rate in the country. There's a gym on every single corner. There's information everywhere. You can go on Google, type in meal plan. You have 150 different meal plans, to your height, weight, everything like that. All the information's there. But nobody's executing it, right? Because they know it takes time. People come in, I want the lifestyle. I want the lifestyle. Nobody really knows what the lifestyle is. It's your own life, and it's how you want to live it. They're always looking at, John down the street and following his journey. Why am I not like him? Yeah. Well, I can give you 6 points right now why you're not, but they never want to look in the mirror and look at themselves and face what their issue is. Most people cannot control what they put in their mouth. And if I tell you no drive-thrus for 1 month and you can't do that, we got bigger problems.
Well, I think you just hit that on the head, dude, I think it's identifying the habits that get you where you want to go. Sure. Obviously, you just used a fitness example, but I coach real estate agents and business owners. So we could identify, here's one thing that you need to do to meet people to grow your income, right? And here's one thing you need to do to be a better husband or wife, or here's one thing to plug back into the church more and charity more and whatever that is.
And it's repetitions of that.
Yeah, but I think it's identifying that. So I actually gave a speech last week, and here's what I said in the speech, and I'll share it here on this podcast is, I think a lot of times because we don't have that immediate gratification, we don't see it working or not working. And actually, so we're either moving one step closer towards our goals or one step away. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Right. Absolutely. But we don't see it right away. So hear me out on this. Let's say I was to walk into that fast food restaurant, right? And underneath that double cheeseburger, which sounds so freaking good right now, it said, warning, if you eat this, you will gain 15 pounds the minute you walk out of here. Do you think that we would be more likely or less likely to eat that, right? Probably less likely because, wow, that's going to be an immediate,
you would think,
boom, in your face, right? But on the flip side, right, if next to that healthy salad, that chicken breast salad or that smoothie or that workout, right, says, hey, if you go work out for 45 minutes and have a smoothie afterwards, warning label at the gym on the front door that says, if you do this workout, the minute you leave here, you're going to be sexy and you've just lost 18 pounds. You're going to feel really good about yourself.
I'm going to that gym.
Right? But how often would you work out? Well, you do it every day because you're going to get immediate now results because you're going to see it right away. But unfortunately, with making more money or losing weight or fixing a relationship or, growing your spirituality or whatever your goals are, we don't see it for 3 months, 6 months down the line. So for example, if I was to cut out calories, right? Or, change up my diet or start writing I love you notes to my lady or whatever that is, you're going to see that compound interest over time, right? It's going to start building on itself. And then you'll look back. Here's a quote I actually brought. I love this. It takes 4 weeks for you to see your body changing. It takes 8 weeks for your friends and family to notice. And it takes 12 weeks for the rest of the world to see your changes. And
I actually think that's wrong.
Do you?
I think it's wrong.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. Well, first off, take out the rest of the world stuff because they don't even matter. They're never going to see it anyway. I think your friends and people see it before you do.
Okay.
I think the people always the last ones to see it themselves because we're such harsh critics of our own body, especially when they get up and they look in the mirror and they don't like what they see. People are mean to themselves. Sure. I hear it every day at the gym and I stop it. I'm like, why do you talk to yourself like that?
Yeah.
Like people are they're downright mean to themselves. They wouldn't say that to their friend. But it's okay to say it to themselves. So I feel like the friends and family see it first. They give compliments. They don't believe it. But if they stick with it long enough, they'll see it. The problem is most people don't stick with it.
See, that's what I wanted to get at. What I really wanted to unpack that today on today's podcast is, encouraging you to identify the right habits in any area or goal that you want to achieve in, right? But then having the commitment to just stick to those and see those out. I think Jose at the gym is a good example of what commitment is, right? And so
he lost like what, 40 something pounds?
Yeah, but I want to go. So we lost 40 something pounds now. I think over 50, right? Could you imagine losing 50 pounds? But check this out. I was there 6 months ago when he couldn't get started. And this is what I'm so glad you guys are listening on this call or watching this video is check this out. Like dial in right now. Like I know I talk loud, but turn up the volume or like at least like perk your ears up right now. So if you're multitasking, here comes the point is this young man, he couldn't take action because he didn't believe it was possible. Because at the end of the day, he had the same thing. It's that paralysis by overanalysis. But how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And so what we did was I encouraged him to commit for 30 days to the habits that it would take to get him there. And it was very simple. It wasn't like go work out 8 hours a day. And I think that's where a lot of us fall down is we try to do so much to get there. We hurt ourselves in the process, right? Like you want to get in shape. So you go work out 3 hours at the gym, kill yourself, and you've established pain. And now you start linking up pain with this moment, right? What he did was he's like, oh man, I'm going to work out every day. No, dude, work out 3 times each week. Wait, what? Yeah, in a 30-day span.
Just start.
You need to work out 12 times. That's literally every other day. It's not that hard. And I said, listen, commit for 30 days. Don't do anything else. But for 30 days, you have to do this and work out 3 times per week. And check this out. This is where the beauty happens. Is at the 30th day, I think he had lost like 10 or 12 pounds.
Yeah.
Check this out.
It was double digit.
How would you feel if you're listening to this right now and 30 days from now, you've actually lost 5 pounds, 10 pounds, or maybe it's a financial thing and you've acquired a few new clients or made an extra $3,000 on your side hustle, made an extra 10 grand. But what was interesting was at the end of the 30 days, he had created momentum for himself by following just 3 workouts per week. And at the end of the 30 days, who had lost the 10 pounds? He had. But more importantly,
he came in and he paid 4 months up front.
He committed to it, but you can never get there unless you believe it's possible. I can't do it for you. You can't do it for them, Andrew. But what you can do personally yourself is you can start that jog in the morning. You could start that workout or start taking your lady or dude on a date night or reading the Bible more or working on acquiring some clients, working on some marketing. And at the end of the 30 days, you've now established momentum for yourself. And now what you're starting to do is prove to yourself that, wow, I am kind of moving. It's like riding a bicycle, right? You can't ride that bike standing still, but once you're up and moving, you can navigate. And now I think he's lost over 50 pounds now, went and got some new clothes, a whole new wardrobe. We only share that. I'm so proud of this young man, but I share that example with you guys to let you know anything you want to do is possible if you identify what it takes today. And I think we look down the road, right? And I'll get into my story a little bit, but I think we're looking at 6 months from now, 12 months from now, and all the time it's going to take. But you know what we need to worry about? Today. I need to worry about that meal that I'm going to go have right now, or that call to that client that I need to make right now. And all I can control is the next hour. But if I control the next hour, the next, the 3 meals I'm going to have today, or to go for a jog, or to get up earlier, if I just live in today, that day is going to turn into a week. Those weeks are going to turn into a month, and that month into 6 months. And when I look back 6 months from now, I'm going to tell you this, and you guys will tell yourselves this. I think you'll be glad you started.
And everyone knows that. Everybody knows, 6 months, I'll be glad. That's the thing. It's like what we're saying here, it's nothing new. It's not that just, oh my God, do you hear what they said? No, we're saying it in just different ways to try to connect with others. But I think going off of your how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time, but I think the problem is people don't really understand is when it comes to fitness and goals and lifestyle in general is that's a never ending elephant. Because you don't stop, it never stops until the day you die. Because as soon as you stop pushing towards those goals, to training the food, you're slowly going backwards. Because with this, it's a never ending game. And I think people don't really ever understand that. They look at it as, well, I'm going to go for 30 days and do this. Well, what are you going to do on day 31? Well, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. No, why don't you have a plan for that? Sure. I've had clients, this one guy, for instance, he did 30 days of no drinking all of the time. He drank more day 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35 than he would have in the first 30. So I'm like, so what's the point of that? You're probably doing more damage to your body going out and binge drinking that much and eating all the food you can. So we lose the weight, put it back on. I have a client that is in his late 40s, CEO of a company, a very successful man. Every year he would go and he'd lose weight and put it back on, lose weight, put it back on. We're talking, 10, 12 years in a row. And this year I got connected with him, and we sat down the first day, and I told him we're going to think about all this completely different. So I broke it all down to him, and he's a very smart guy. And he sat back and like, wow, I never looked at it this way. So we went completely different route he's ever done. He's kept all the weight off. He's doing great this year, and he's still fitting in down to a size 32 jeans. So from a 38 to a 32, lost damn near 50 pounds. He looks better than he's ever had in his entire life, and he's 49 years old. But he realized it's never going to stop.
Right.
It's a lifestyle. It doesn't.
Yeah, it's a long-term game
plan. And he did start small. He started a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. And now I told him, I go, so we're going to coast through December. Come January, you got this brand new plan. Here's what we're going to do. And I don't have to worry about him because he knows what it takes.
You know, what's funny? You remind me of one of my favorite Tony Robbins quotes. He says, most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a year, and they completely underestimate what they can accomplish in a decade.
In 10 years,
And I think that's so true. And I think it almost comes from, sure, you got to get started. And we're encouraging you. Guys, I'm telling you right now, I love you. I believe in you. Whatever your goal is, whether that's to lose more weight, make some more money, start a side hustle, take that trip. We all have our own goals. Guys, just get started. Identify what it's going to take for you to get started today, and stop putting off till tomorrow what can easily be accomplished today. I think we put off till Monday, right? Or till the new year, when you can actually just get started today.
Oh, everybody
going to become a part of you.
New Year's.
Right.
Everybody
so the time we're recording this, it's December the 6th, right? So we have 24 days till the new year. And I think everybody puts off till the new year, right? But whether you listen to this in 6 months, it could be the middle of June, and you're like, June 15th, I'll wait till July. I'll wait till after the 4th of July to get started.
Always.
When you could just get started today and do something small today. And I promise you guys this, if you start small, those baby steps lead to a little bit bigger steps, and those bigger steps become strides. And that's actually
enjoy the process. Enjoy the process and accept the quote unquote failures, right? So if you go out and you get drunk, I said, and you eat bad or whatever, you had 3 cheat meals in 1 week. Oh my God, the world's coming to an end. It's okay. Just understand that
you're
it's
human.
Okay. Yeah, you're good. And people are like, oh, I don't want to tell you what I did this week. And I'm like, you didn't die. It's fine. What did you learn from it? Okay. Were there other options? And we use every failure as a stepping stone. Okay. How's we going to learn from here? Okay, perfect. And we go from there. But they just got to accept it. And I think people they're so afraid of failure, but you're failing by not even doing anything. Like I have clients come in, they'll be working out for 90 days. They never want to discuss diet. I'm not changing. Okay. I can't force you. You're 35-year-old male. It's your choice. I'm not going to, be your cheerleader in the corner and make it, hurrah, you can do it. Don't cheat this weekend. You're a grown ass adult. If you need that cheerleader motivation every single day, that you're going to fail. You're never going to be successful if you need that. Exactly. So,
you can do it.
They'll be 90 days in. Like, well, I'm not even eating right. So I'm just not going to work out. All right. That's my look. I'm like, really? So the one thing you do for yourself, the only healthy thing you do is exercise. Now you're going to take that away because you eat like shit. That makes 0 sense. People take it, well, nutrition and fitness hand in hand. I have to do it together. I can't do one and not the other. I tore my calf. Okay. I was out for 8 weeks. I came back. I shit you not. 7 days later, I tore my other calf. I was out for another 8 to 10 weeks. That one was even worse.
Dude. Yeah.
So we were talking a few months down. I literally was like, I was depressed. Like it was terrible, and this was like, I had a long stint of not drinking alcohol. So it was kind of perfect that it happened because, I had to sit there and go through all this. But I look back because that was great because it taught me how to really, really focus on my nutrition part. And I maintained everything. Yeah, I lost a little bit of like mass, but no big deal. But I maintained everything all through healthy diet. So, and that's once you lose one, you realize how important the other one is. And that's what people don't understand.
That, dude, is, obviously anybody looking at you on the video right now, guys, if you're on the podcast, Andrew's, he's chisel chest. Like he's competition. He competed as a bodybuilder. Dude's in great shape. He's popping abs out. But I think for you to say that, it makes it so real, dude. And like when you say that as a trainer, or when I talk about my struggles as a coach and as an inspirational guy, I think we can all relate to that, right? Because we are all human, and when we're talking about the baby steps, right? It really reminds me of me starting with you back in April, coming out of the hospital and coming out of spine surgery and being paralyzed from the waist down. that's actually why I'm up here. And those that are on video, and guys, I'm up in the White Mountains of Arizona, which is about 3.5 miles north of Phoenix, up here at a cabin. And we're getting some snow tonight, and I got a big fire on. And
so jealous.
This is something that we put in place last year, though. And, I remember there was a time last year when my whole right leg was numb as the cyst was wrapping itself around my spinal column, and my whole right leg was numb. And I grew up snowboarding. And snowboarding means a lot to me. There's a lot of passion there. Me and my best friend, Chris, grew up together snowboarding, been to a lot of mountains with him. So whenever I think of snowboarding, I think of him, and I think of the memories and our time growing up. And there was a time last year where I was so numb in my right leg. It was a Friday. I'll never forget it. It started snowing up in the high country. And I remember I was getting the text message, and I could see it, on Facebook. Oh, we're going skiing tomorrow. Nick, are you coming with us? And I remember getting so upset about that. I thought I could will myself to go snowboarding. And I remember that Friday night, I remember this story. And I put on my snowboarding boots. I tied them up, and for some odd reason, I thought in my mind I was stronger than being paralyzed. And I was like, oh geez. And so I had convinced myself that if I could strap myself into my snowboard and stand up, I was strong enough and I was good enough to will myself down a mountain. And what had happened was I actually got into my snowboard and I slowly just fell to the ground. And if you guys can picture the moment, I'm literally locked into my snowboard, feet are locked in. I can't bend my back because of my spine. My right leg is numb, and I'm officially stuck laying on my garage floor. And I'll never forget the moment is I just remember laying there and tears just started coming down my eyes. And I remember staring at the ceiling, just thinking to myself, I have so far to go. Oh my God. To get back into the shape that I was, or to be an athlete again, I knew in my heart of hearts that was going to be a long, long, long struggle, really long struggle. But what I did then at that moment in time, and this was almost a year ago, guys, and if you can learn anything from this horrendous thing that I went through, is set a goal for yourself and don't stop till you get there. And I remember laying there crying my eyes out, screaming for help because my girlfriend at the time was inside sleeping and she couldn't hear me. I think I was on the ground for about 2 hours alone.
Wow. I didn't know it was that long. Holy crap.
The thought that goes through your mind. I remember laying there and I got really, really inspired at that point in time. I was so sad. I was so upset, but I remember setting a goal for myself that I said, when I'm going to start rehabbing, I'm going to get through this. But when I do, I'm going to go up north and I'm going to snowboard, not for a day, for multiple weeks. And guys, I'm proud to tell you this. I'm sitting in a cabin and I'm going snowboarding for the first time tomorrow morning. And we're getting dumped on tonight. And it's going to be a very emotional experience, a very spiritual experience. And it's kind of my way of putting a lot of that behind me. But the reason I share that story with you guys, one, to let you know that it's okay to be at rock bottom. Guys, I was at rock bottom. I mean, I was scared. I was terrified. I didn't know how to rehab, but I reached out to Andrew, who's here on the call with me, and I asked for help. And I knew that just starting slowly but surely in a year's time, that was going to add up. And maybe you're there right now and maybe you want to turn around your finances or turn on your health, turn on your relationships and save your marriage. Or maybe you're like, you know what, man, I really want to be present more with my kids. Just start and put a long-term goal in place. And remember when I met with Andrew on April the 1st, we put a goal in place and knew that we wanted to do this because he's obviously snowboarded with me and we've been part of this. And I'm going to convince you to get your butt up here and see me for a day. But I remember that first workout, man, and I could barely stand up. I mean, I could barely stand up with my own body weight. He had to pull me up and I couldn't, run. I couldn't walk, shuffle side to side. I remember one exercise where I just fell on the ground and started crying. And Andrew, he came over, he could see the tears in my eyes and you put your arms around me and let me know that it was going to be okay. And what that showed me was, you know what, every day that I do this, I'm going to get a little bit stronger and a little bit better. And it's not going to come overnight. And as much as I wanted to have that body again, dude, I mean, being a college football player, I was a beast at one point in time, throwing weights around. And that was a big part of my lifestyle. Mm-hmm. But I remember a couple weeks in, you go, dude, do you see how far you've come? Look at what you just did. And it wasn't fancy. You guys, like, I had to work out individually with Andrew in the gym because it was so embarrassing for me. You would look at me like, dude, this guy's an idiot. And we worked out one-on-one, but one workout turned into 10 and 10 turned into 20. And I remember when we started actually lifting some weights again and you could see the look on my face, but it didn't come overnight, guys. It really didn't. It took day in, day out, but nothing crazy. We only work out 45 minutes a day and we were only working out 3 times a week at that point in time. And then 3 to 4 and 4 to 5. And now, I was able to go on a hike for the first time last week. And that was just such a beautiful moment for me. I shot Andrew a photo. I said, dude, thank you so much. I love you. I was able to hike a mountain today because of you. And guys, I'm just encouraging you right now, just get started. and stop worrying about the things coming overnight and super fast, and don't microwave them. Just start today with something. Because I'll tell you this, after a few weeks, if you've done something every day, maybe you just start a chapter of a book, listen to a 3-minute inspirational thing. After 2 weeks, you have that momentum. Tell your lady how much you love her today, or, go in and you know what, maybe at dinner, no tablets and phones at dinner, and just be present with the kids. Or
I like that one a lot.
Do a game night with the kids. Every Friday night's pizza and game night. Or, maybe you just every morning get up 15 minutes earlier and walk outside and write down what you're grateful for. I don't know what your goals are. Obviously, I want to learn about them and help you with those. But I know if you did that every single day, guys, it's going to add up. And you guys can understand how emotional it is for me to be sitting here with a fire behind me and being up in the snow and just being able to share this podcast with you. So I just wanted to share that story at the tail end of this podcast, guys. It's just, there is hope for you. No matter what you're trying to do, stop looking at how big the mountain really is and just worry about the next couple steps in front of you. Because I'll promise you this, you don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the first step. And that's actually a quote I put on Instagram today.
I like that. And once you reach the top of the mountain, guess what? There's another mountain to go get. Mountain. Yeah, I'll tell you a quick little thing about me. So I did 3 physique shows. I did my first one, and I went on a diet. I did a 12-week plan, and I didn't have any cheat meal for 6 weeks, okay? I was actually in Park City with some friends, and I would go actually nanny for them. I'd watch their kids and whatnot. So I was up there, and at night, everyone went to bed. I was having my first cheat meal. So I was getting up. I'll get there. So I was doing my cardio in the morning. I was lifting weights. And this day I did cardio, lifted, and then I snowboarded. So I had a big meal at night. All right. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
I had 8 Eggo waffles, butter syrup, the whole thing. Then I had a box of macaroni and cheese with 4 hot dogs.
Like that Kraft mac and old school Kraft mac and cheese?
Oh, dude, that's all it would go. So that was
ketchup on it, though? That's a big question.
Ew, no, gross. That's disgusting. Oh, no. I just, bro, it's like
you just polarized
ketchup on a steak, bro.
Half of our listeners just X'd out of the podcast, bro, because that's that half that puts ketchup on the hot dogs. And
they probably put pineapple on the pizza, too. So.
Oh, dude, don't you start with me, bro. Show me a brick oven pineapple Hawaiian pizza isn't delightful. I'm going to get you one. You know what? I'm shipping one to your house right now.
Cool. Well, I'll probably eat it, too. So I went the next 6 weeks, and then I did my show. Then I did another show like 4 weeks later. Then I did another one like 2 or 3 months later after that. Okay, so I got down. I was the leanest I've ever been. I felt good, looked good. After my 3rd show, guess what I had? I had 0 plans of what to come next.
Sure.
And the meal plan I was doing, I mean, I did whatever it took. I hate fish. I was eating fish every single day. Sure. I'm not a fan of sweet potatoes. I ate them every single day. I did whatever I had to do. I lost it all. I probably put on 30 to 35 pounds, okay, for 1 year. I shit you not. 1 year. This is how messed up I was in the head, because it's something I never experienced. And this was all new to me, that I could not eat healthy, whatever you want to call it, for one day. I couldn't. It was like I was falling off for 1 year. Imagine that. I had control for, 8 months. I was the leanest I've ever been. Boom, ballooned up another 30, 35 pounds. And I was just like, oh my God, what the hell's going on? And sure. I couldn't figure it out. So just a whole year passes. That's when I tore my calf. Okay. Oh, that's when I realized, and I was lifting, I was getting super strong. So I was still working on doing stuff, but I didn't feel good and like the way I looked. That's when I tore my calf. I lost a big piece of me. I was like, sure. Oh my God. That's when I switched over to nutrition. So actually doing the shows, putting on the weight for a year, going through all that, then injuring myself was some of the best things that could ever happen, because all I wanted to do was be lean and maintain abs year round. January is going to be 3 years of doing that, so of going through that stuff was good because it got me here. So the reason I'm telling you this is when you guys go through this process, you're going to have setbacks. You're going to have these things. But if you keep pushing towards your goal, no matter what hits you in the face, eventually you're going to get there and then go past that and accept those failures, whatever you want to call it, accept it, take them in and learn and then move on. You can't sit there and look back like, oh, well, I put all the weight back on. I've seen clients lose weight, stop training, go put more weight back on. Say they lost 40, they come back and they have 60 pounds on now. And I'm like, I've been there, I get it, but I tell them, don't stop, keep going, and you'll be successful.
Dude, I appreciate you sharing that, man. I think a lot of us need to hear that and have a lot to learn from you. And I think that just kind of sums up the podcast and we'll, I guess, kind of put a bow on this thing is, I mean, to get started, whether you want to, no matter what your goal is, I think you have to identify the right habits that are going to get you there, right? The right strategy, the right skills, what you need. And then to not have to worry about, man, I got to, there's 1,000 of these things to do. Just start today and do one thing. And if you do one thing over and over and over again, it's going to start to build that momentum for your life. And I just encourage you guys, stop putting off till tomorrow what you could do today and get started now, because I promise you this, looking back, you'll wish you would start it. What's the old saying? When's the best time to plant a tree? You know what I'm saying?
Well, when?
Today? Yeah.
No, yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. It would have been 10 years ago, if not today. Right. And so looking back, guys, coulda, woulda, shouldas, they're just gone. Right. And I think we run around looking through a rear view mirror, expecting things to change going backwards. You don't drive that way. You got to look forward, and it's okay. Regardless of what you've done in the past, regardless of who you've been, the lack of consistency, the lack of results, or whatever that is, it doesn't fucking matter. Just get started today, because guess what? You in 30 days could be a whole new person, right? And have that this new look on life. And just like Jose's story, what if you did go lose 10 pounds? What would that prove to you? What's interesting is coming to the holidays, right? They say that average person puts on 8 pounds during the holidays. What if you made this year different? And I'm not saying you can't enjoy yourself, you can't have some eggnog, you can't have some pie. I'm saying do that. But what I'm saying is, identify other habits throughout the week where you don't have to be that normal person. Or like in my world, right? Real estate agents. I'll do it in January. I'll get the new website in January. What if you did that today, got started, and now you're 3 weeks ahead of it? And when the ball drops, boom, you're ready
to rock.
You're hitting the ground running, right? And guys, if we can give you anything on today's podcast, just start. And start today. Start with something small and just rip the Band-Aid and get started in any of those goals and dreams. Because at the Triumphant Life, we believe that is all absolutely possible for you, and you can achieve anything in this world you want to. And the best part is there's a whole group of loving people around you that are part of this community that want to support you, that want to encourage you, that want to lift you up and give you some cool strategies and tips along the way. And that's what we're all about here at the Triumphant Life. And that's what episode 2 was.
Don't wait for the perfect plan, because you'll build the perfect plan as you're going along, because your plan will always change. So don't sit around and wait for it. Start moving and build it as you go.
And I think on that note, buddy, that is the perfect way to end it. Hey, air high five. Episode 2 is officially in the books, man. Hey, guys, thank you for sticking around. If you love this, please share this with a friend. Somebody out there that needs to hear this.
If you anything you want to hear about, drop in the comments.
Oh, yeah. If there's something you guys want to want us to cover and unpack on a topic, we have to do that. But you have that friend right now that you're like, oh, man, they've been really trying to really lose weight or start that side hustle. Guys, we just want to encourage you. We're doing this for free. We're just having a ball doing it. And just remember, as much as we can.
All you need is love and a dog.
Awesome, dude. I freaking love you guys. Episode 2 in the books. We will see you next week on episode 3. Rock on.
Bye, guys.
Fortune